How's everyone doing? Welcome to another top 10 most expensive Pokemon cards edition featuring EX Emerald. In this booster pack featured, you'll see some amazing artwork along with some incredibly high prices. So don't forget, if you enjoy this set and this series, don't forget to hit that like button and make sure you're a subscriber. Comment down below what set or individual Pokemon you would like to see featured in next week's top 10 most expensive Pokemon. And don't forget, down below we do have membership options available for anyone interested in becoming a member of this channel. You do get increased chances at free Pokemon slabs, booster packs, god packs, and singles as well. So check out that membership option if you think that sounds right to you. Alright, now let's get into today's top 10 most expensive featuring EX Emerald. I like the doodle they have of Rayquaza. It's kind of funny because it's nothing what he actually... I mean, it is what he looks like, but it looks like a Simpson it looks like a Simpson artist drew him. Just my opinion. Starting off with number 10, we have ourselves the Dusclops EX going for already in the $50 range. $52.02. This PSA 10 comes at $1,200 with a super drop with a PSA 9.5 at $115. This card's most expensive time was back in January of 21, going for $85.31, where its most inexpensive time was back in September of 23 at $21.45. Going in now at number 9, we have ourselves Pikachu Reverse Holo with that little Pokemon Emerald stamp right there as well. This card is going for $54.31 with a PSA 10 price tag of $739.99. 9.5 drops about $500, which is crazy since it's only a 0.5 difference. This card's most expensive time was back in March of 22 at $68.12. And its most inexpensive time was a little bit after in July of 22 at $39.99. At number 8, we have ourselves Raichu EX. This card's going for $58.10 with a PSA 10 of $1,511.22, because that 22 cents is so important. 9.5 drops about $1,300, which is insane, to $202.50. With the most expensive time this card was around was back in January of 21, going for $62.58. Its least most expensive time was back in December of 23 at $32.22. At number 7, we have Rayquaza Reverse Holo with the Emerald stamp going for $69.99. The PSA 10 is worth $1,421.51 with a 0.5 difference going down to a 9.5 at almost $1,000. It's just insane. 0.5, that much of a price difference. This card's most expensive time frame was back in February of 21 at $94.90. And its most inexpensive time was back in July of 22 at $27.89. Going now to a number 6. Don't forget, at the end of this, we also show the booster pack and the booster box as well to show you the extreme price difference and how you should buy this set if you want to master it. This Deoxys EX is going for $79.18 with a PSA 10 of $1,709. The PSA 9.5 drops about $1,400. And this card's most expensive time frame was pretty recently, back in December of 23, going for $99.99. This card's cheapest time frame was back in May of 21, going for only $15.08. So pretty recently, he started shooting up in expensive price. At number 5, we have ourselves Miltank EX going for $98.07 with a PSA 10 of cards worth almost $4,000 in a PSA 10. That is insane. PSA 9.5 drops about $2,700 to a $1,343 price tag. This card's most expensive price tag was back in February of 22 at $147.75. And its cheapest price was back in June of 21 at $60. Number 4, we have ourselves the Explode Staff Stamp. Make sure it has the staff stamp. This card's going for $102 with only a PSA 8 in the midst there, going for $109. There is no PSA 9, 9.5, or 10. This card has been $102.50 since December of 22 and since has not changed. Now, before we get into the top 3, we are going to go over the honorable top 5 mentions just because they do deserve to be mentioned in here, but they're not expensive enough to make it into the top 10. At number 5 of the honorable mentions, we have Altaria EX going for $43.58 with a PSA 10 of $485. PSA 9.5 drops about $375, and this card's most expensive era was back in August of 21, with it being worth $62.88. And the most inexpensive time you could have bought this card was back in March of 23 at $30.06. Number 4 of the honorable mentions is Skeptical Reverse Holo, going for $47.94 with a PSA 10 of $292.50. It drops a total about $215 down to a 9.5, and only being worth $77. This card's most inexpensive time was back when it first hit the market, or at least first got sold maybe, in August of 21 at only $15, with the most expensive price of this card being current right now at $47.94 in May of 24. Today, this month. Number 3 of the honorable mentions is going to Regirock EX. This card's going for $48.87 with a PSA 10 of $668.89. PSA 9.5 drops a total of $568.89, and this card's most expensive time on the market was pretty recently in January of 24, going for $58.32, with its most inexpensive time on the market far back to February of 21 for only $15.75. If time machines were real, man, you could save a lot of money. Number 2, we have ourselves the Blaziken Reverse Holo Emerald Stamp, going for $50 even, with a PSA 10 of $381.56 and a PSA 9.5 of $105, dropping this card's price tag of about $276. The most expensive this card was back in December of 21 for $55.35. And the most inexpensive this card was when it first hit the market, or at least got sold, in January of 21 for only $6.50. Sheesh, that's nothing. Number 1 is going to be the Loudron State Championships stamp. It has to have that little stamp on there with the championship stamp, going for $50.78. And there is no PSA grades of this card at all. So if you have this card and you grade it, might be worth a good amount of money. This card has been worth $50.78 since January of 24. Now it's time for the top 3 most expensive Pokemon cards of the EX Emerald. And don't forget, after we get through them, to make sure you stick around to see what a booster pack and booster pack cost. Booster box, sorry. At number 3, we have Explode National Champion Staff Card. Has to have that stamp there. Going for $140 with a PSA 10 of $898.88. There are no lower PSAs of this, so nothing to base it off of when it drops. This card has been that expensive since January of 24. At number 2, we have the Pikachu Comic-Con promo, going for $157.50 with a PSA 10 of $830. PSA 9.5 only drops $225 with the PSA 9 drops an additional $55. And the 8 only drops $50. Once you hit a 7, that's when it starts to really drop. This card's most expensive point was back in July of 23 for $500. Feel bad if you paid for it, man. Ain't worth nothing close to that now. And its cheapest time is actually current at $157.50. Now, it's time for the #1 most expensive Pokemon card in the EX Emerald series. And don't forget, make sure you stick around and see what a booster pack and booster box cost to see if you want to collect this set and how would it be cheapest. At #1, we have ourselves the Explode National Championship stamp. The #3, the other ones were not #3. This one's going for $200, where there is no PSA gradings of this card at all. This card does not have any shift in change and actually has just come on the market recently at $200. So it will be interesting to see how this card changes over time and what it will drop or it will rise to. Now, these are all championship cards that you saw for the last one and a couple other ones. So don't forget, these will not be included in booster packs. So do be aware of that. A booster pack does, however, cost $262.86 with no graded booster packs on the market. The cheapest you could have bought a booster pack was back in June of 22 for $195.14. Still very expensive. And the most expensive this booster pack was, was back in July of 21 for $290.67. Now remember, a booster pack was $262, and the most expensive non-championship card was the Militech EX, going for $98. So if the most expensive card in the set is only $98 and a booster pack goes for $262, it might be better to just buy these cards in singles if you want to master this set. Now for the booster box, which is insanely priced. Booster box is going for $14,053 with none of them being graded, as I don't think PSA grades them at all. This booster box most expensive time was back from June of 23 to October of 23, going for $26,500. It's dropped $12,000 since October of 23 and is now currently only worth $14,053. Thank you everyone for tuning in to the top 10 most expensive Pokemon cards featuring EX Emerald. If you would like to see a set, series, or Pokemon in its individuality featured in next week's top 10, make sure you comment down below. Don't forget to hit that like button if you haven't yet, and smash the subscribe button if you're not yet a subscriber. Don't forget to check out membership options as well. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Now, if you're a member, if you are a part of this channel and you know the saying, say it with me, let's make Hollows great again and keep poking on. Until next time, everyone, peace out and have a great rest of your day.